So here's the template I made. In case you can't tell, I made it out of the cardboard from a cereal box, but I'm not going to tell you what cereal. You'll have to figure that out on your own. And this is the area that will attach under the overhang and will have to come out beyond the gutter. And this is the area where the light can be mounted. Looked around, I have this piece of pressure treated, which I think will be useful. And I have several pieces of pressure treated 2x stock that I think will come in handy. So this is kind of coming together. This is kind of sitting there, so this will hang up under the overhang. These two pieces will come out. And the actual plate that's going to hold the light is going to be at an angle of about 45 degrees. So these two have to have an angle cut on them. And it's going to look something like that. I'm debating whether these two pieces have to be full 2x stock. I might rip this guy a little bit thinner. And they also maybe don't have to be quite this high. A little concerned that this is going to be awfully heavy, and it's actually attached to the building over here by screwing into the overhang. So there's going to be a lot of pressure on these screws to hold this whole thing. So keeping it a little lighter might not be a bad idea. This angle isn't terribly critical. I'm just eyeballing it, lining it up on my table saw. I marked these holes, and the plan is for them to go through at a 45-degree angle. It's kind of hard to do freehand, but it's not terribly critical. So these 4 holes are where I want them to come through on this side. The screws are actually going to be driven in from this side. So it's finally coming together. That piece is going to sit in there, and this piece will attach out here like so. This again is in reference to the template that I made. Well, here it is ready to glue up. I pre-drilled holes in each of these sides. And I do have some Titebond 3, so I'm going to use that because it's claimed to be waterproof. Although I think the screws will be plenty to hold it together. Glue is just added measure of security. And I decided not to glue this piece on. I'm going to just use mechanical fasteners in case this piece ever needs to be removed and be replaced. For example, in the future there may be a light with a different configuration or something like that. Alright, there you have it. Here it is, all finished up, just waiting for the glue to dry. I got screws on both sides. I screwed that in. These 2 screws are going straight into the 2x's, and then these are going in perpendicular to this piece. So that's good and strong. When I was mounting the light on the bracket, I wasn't pleased with the 45-degree angle that I had put on it. I put that on it thinking that instead of facing south or west with the 45-degree angle, the light would face southwest, so to speak. And that wasn't good enough. I wanted it to face a little bit further west, so I created 2 wedges, and this is the sister of the one that I actually made and mounted. And I didn't record it because I was in a rush, but I did end up changing the angle a little bit more so that the light would face a little bit further west. And there it is installed. And there's another view of it. From this angle you can clearly see the additional wedge that I added to tip it a little further. So I have one of these mounted on a house, and it's sitting on the end of an overhang, and this area is kind of exposed to the weather. And the homeowner and I thought if we moved it down we could get it under the overhang. But this thing slips on to this bracket. So I have a little prop here. This kind of represents the overhang. You have to mount this kind of low down so that you still have enough room to get this on and latch it on. So it looks as though the piece that hangs down has to be about this deep down, and then I'm thinking I'm going to glue a cleat onto it so that I have something to screw this up into the overhang. I cleaned up the edges and I marked on both sides where this piece is going to sit. And I'm going to use PVC cement with some screws to attach it, because once the cement dries and sets up, these two pieces will be welded together. Be a very strong joint, very weatherproof. The screws will just be put in to really hold it all together while the cement sets up. And here it is mounted on the house. This is facing west. We moved the solar panel away to get away from the shadow of the house, and you can see where this is mounted now. It's protected from the weather. And here is a third installation. This light is facing sort of northeast, and we mounted the solar panel around the corner of the house, and it's out on a beam to get it out of the shadow of the chimney, and that panel is essentially facing largely west to get the afternoon sun. Well, the feedback so far from the clients has been really positive. They throw a good amount of light, what you'd expect from floodlights in terms of luminosity, and the sensitivity pretty good on the sensor, so they perform as well as you'd hope. And they haven't been installed long enough for me to have any idea in terms of robustness or longevity or reliability or anything like that. But they certainly install for a lot less money than one that would require an electrician. So that's what I got. Thanks for coming by, and check me out on the next one.